Hi, my name is Bryce Anderson, and this is my presentation video about my research paper, The Business of Water. Most resources, whether they're essential to our well-being or not, are received or given in the form of a business negotiation. Water is no different. Fresh water, no matter how important to almost all living organisms on Earth, also happens to be a very scarce resource. This leads into my thesis statement for my previous paper, which was a new plan on managing safe drinking water that includes a business aspect is essential to ensure struggling populations receive enough fresh water. With severe droughts throughout the world, in the US, most recently in California, water is blatantly scarce in the entire globe. As the droughts were much more serious in other nations on the other side of the world, I personally was only exposed to the California drought, as I lived there my entire life before attending the University of Arizona. Other parts of the world did not only have access to little or no drinking water, or no fresh water, it became so bad most drank unsafe water, which led to many getting sick and many even dying. This has much to do with the fact that many of these nations couldn't afford to buy water from corporations or other countries. They simply couldn't afford to live, in a sense. This brings me to deciding what is better: a privately held community water system or a publicly held one. With the drastic difference between the two preferences, according to Americans, those that live in the District of Columbia and Puerto Rico, it's clear what is more beneficial, as the public outweighs the private 88-12. Private systems allow for less giving, and public systems seem to want to give more, or at least find ways to give back, especially in desperate nations. This image goes over how much each state has cut back their water use inside of their homes. Ironically, the top 4 states that use the most water, which include California, Texas, Idaho, and Florida, were actually the top 4 states that had the biggest withdrawals of water use. I learned from having to do research on this topic how things you wouldn't really think of, or at least I never thought of, have to do with the amount of water we use as a community and in our individual homes. The type of house or size of your property, as well as the rate of the water that comes out of the shower or faucet. It's not the exact same at each house or apartment, so it has to be taken into account when calculating water usage.